Hello, my name is Nick Davis and I left All Saints Academy in 2016 and while I was here I studied music production, creative media production, ICT and catering. I chose All Saints Academy sixth form because I also came here for just normal secondary school. I felt really supported by the staff, I built really good relationships with the staff and I felt really encouraged by them to pursue the career that I wanted to pursue. So my sixth form highlights was the ability to get industry experience through trips, through work experience, and by doing external projects in the areas that I was interested in, which is actually really supportive, really useful to build that knowledge and that foundational skill set. After sixth form, I decided to go to university, and I decided to stay in Cheltenham and go to the University of Gloucestershire to study TV production. When I finished university, I graduated with a first-class degree, which I was really excited about, really happy with, and also really surprised with. I was the first person in my family to go to university, so it's a really big achievement for me and obviously for them, so it's really good. And then at the end of the year, when I graduated, me and a friend of mine both got awarded the Media School Creativity Prize for all of the projects and events that we'd run while we were there. So while at university, I was able to take on multiple different opportunities within my course and outside of my course. Some of these were in TV, so working on Britain's Got Talent, Little Mix The Search, A Place in the Sun, and then additional events such as Insomnia Gaming Festival as the main stage camera header department. Insomnia Gaming Festival is the UK's biggest gaming festival, held in Birmingham at the NEC, and my role there was to basically manage the stage, manage the cameras, and manage what we were filming. From that experience, I decided to run my own esports event at university, which was both University of Gloucestershire and University of Worcester's first inter-university esports event. And this was sort of a studio and live event over the course of 3 months. We had over 60 volunteers working with us, and we managed to raise a really good bit of money for Special Effects, a disabled gamers charity. Since graduating university, I've done numerous amounts of things. Not long after I graduated, obviously COVID-19 hit, which meant we were in lockdown, and as we all know, the media and events industries were kind of shut down. There wasn't a lot of work on, so I decided to find some projects that I could do remotely. One of those was a COVID-19 documentary in production, and I sort of joined as a sort of junior researcher, speaking to people across the world on how COVID was impacting them. And then soon after, I was able to get a full-time job in London at a company called One Young World, and I started there as a digital content editor, filming, editing, a whole range of content for our event in Munich at the time, as well as for our social channels. And recently I've been promoted to Digital Summit Content Manager for our Tokyo Summit. So at One Young World, we are a global young leaders charity. We find, promote and connect the next generation of global young leaders from across the world, obviously, and empower them to continue to tackle the challenges that they're tackling in their countries. While at All Saints Academy, with support from staff like Mr. Wright, Mr. Clarkson and Miss Edgar, I was able to take on a range of different opportunities to build my skill set in editing, in filming and understanding the media industry. One of the big things in this industry is building experience, and you can learn all you want about it, but without the experience you're not going to know how to handle certain situations and you're not going to have the confidence. So a big part of me getting into the industry was having the space and the freedom to learn and to try things out, both with external clients and on projects within my course. So I was recently at COP26 in Glasgow. COP is the Conference of Parties, the United Nations Climate Change Conference, which happens yearly. This year it was in Glasgow, next year it's actually in Cairo, and it will move around the different capitals to focus on the climate change threat that we're facing. The idea is that it will bring global leaders from all over the world to discuss the emerging threats and the current threats. There are loads of people who are on the front line of climate change who are having their homes sunk by rising seas, wildfires, all sorts of issues that are affecting people, that we need to address this issue front on. And the idea of COP is that these people come together to speak and to share ideas and ideally put in some concrete plans, some legislation that will mean countries have targets to work towards. I was at COP26 with One Young World, who are the company I work for, as the only comms person on the ground for our venue. We were on a little ferry on the River Clyde as a fringe event, and I was filming all of our content going on there, as well as filming our green zone sessions. So at COP you have green zone and blue zone. The blue zone is where the governments are and you have to be accredited to go in there. And the green zone is where members of the public and lots of speaker sessions happen. So you can really get a feel for what governments are actually doing to change climate change.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
You, the next generation of passionate young leaders and One Young World ambassadors, can lead the charge for universal access to water and sanitation.
We can bring about a better world for all, and it just starts with that localized grassroots action.
I was also there unofficially with the YMCA Scotland and World YMCA because I had directed, produced and edited 6 short documentaries, which was actually 7 international shoots in Peru, Kosovo, Zambia, Hawaii, Palestine, the Philippines and the USA. And we'd filmed these documentaries about people on the front lines of climate change and how they had decided to come up with a solution to enact change in their community. And this actually stemmed back from the YMCA's 175 event in 2019 in London, which I wasn't a part of, but I learned so much about it while I was here, and I managed to really understand what these young people were going through, living on the front lines in places affected by climate change. And this film was premiered in the Green Zone, and it had MPs and politicians from all over the world in attendance, so it was a really great opportunity to showcase the work that I'd done, but most importantly spotlight these incredible young activists.
The crisis that we are is being caused by us, the humans.
It makes you wonder what kind of a world we'll leave for the next generation.
I'd like to think of us as global citizens rather than local citizens. But if you want to have great leaders of tomorrow, the leaders of now have to be great, they have to do action, they have to inspire.
My advice to anybody who wants to get into the media industry, into the creative industries, is to really put yourself out there and take as many opportunities as you can. It's really the only way to build the experience necessary to carry you forward. We all start out in this industry with no experience, right? So we've got to take opportunities that are outside our comfort zone to build the skills we need, to meet the people who are in the networks we want to be in. And by meeting those people, quite often we're then able to jump onto other projects. That's how I started. I took as many opportunities as I could, but I also chased a lot of opportunities. That's another big thing. It's okay taking opportunities that are presented to you, but what about the ones that aren't presented? The more you chase opportunities, the more likely you are to get to where you want to be, to build your network, to gain the experience that you need to progress in this industry. I got the YMCA job by chasing. I was already in the industry. I was already working a full-time job, and I was like, do you know what? I want more work. I wanted to do something that was in an industry with a skill set that I hadn't quite built up yet. So it's always really important to chase opportunities too. And to give a really good impression, something that's really important is to make sure you're delivering on projects.